All right.
I do love her music.
It's
It is
kind of
good.
catchy.
They did a good job spicing up Ric Flair's music. You know what I mean?
It could have been a lot worse. This definitely there was an opportunity there to make this so much like Curtis Axel's theme when he re-debuted. Could have been something, and then no.
That's true.
But this is good. Better than that because that was supposed to be a remix of Mr. Perfect's song, and it just did not go.
But it didn't work.
It didn't work. This works much better. Obviously, the streak lives. Charlotte has retained on pay-per-view again. Is it safe to say that the Raw Women's Championship means nothing now?
Pretty much.
I mean, you know, I don't even know like where to start with this. Like, I mean, we talked about this prior. You know, we had all said watch Charlotte win it back, and yet we all were wrong because in our actual picks we all went with Banks. But I mean, it's number one. I think you are depreciating the value very rapidly of that women's title. It's becoming a joke that, you know, somebody's going to have, you know, that title change 4 times in a month. I mean, dude, at this rate, she is going to beat Ric Flair's record in like a year. I mean, this is just getting out of control. And it's like, and then what does this do for Sasha? All right, so she can win the big one on a Raw, but she can't pull it off at a pay-per-view?
I heard Vince doesn't like her, so.
Well, I've heard that too, but you know what? Vince could go fuck himself because at the end of the day, Sasha Banks is gold. The fans love her. She's selling merchandise out the ass. She can wrestle and she can talk on the microphone. Let me tell you something. In my opinion, she is bigger than Charlotte to me because Charlotte, I still think, is horrible on the microphone. She just sounds too robotic. Sasha makes it sound and flow like it should. You know what I mean? So to me, Sasha's the total package over and above Charlotte. And that's not to take anything away from Charlotte in the ring. She's phenomenal. She just really needs to work on the way she delivers her promos because even the content is good. It's just the delivery, in my opinion, is garbage. I thought it was a phenomenal match. I mean, every single match they've had, the Hell in the Cell, the Iron Man, the whatever, all of the specialty matches have been home runs. But what the fuck? I mean, if you were going to take it off of Sasha in the end, why did you ever take it off Charlotte? So, and I know Eric agrees because that was a comment he made during, and he was so fucking disgusted he didn't even watch the main event. And I get it because it's just really, it's becoming brutal. But why can't Sasha have a run? Because now, I honestly think, no matter what I just said, I think going forward, Charlotte now holds that title till Mania, and I think that's where Bayley's going to take it. And I do agree. I think Sasha will turn heel at some point, and it will be a triple threat, or even make it a fatal 4-way and throw Nia in there. And I think that might be more of a logical scenario only because last year's Mania was a triple threat. So you don't want to do the same thing. So now make it a fatal 4-way.
First of all, Eric, you didn't miss much when you skipped the main event.
I want to talk about that too.
Spoiler alert. Second of all, I think this might just be it, at least temporarily, for Sasha. Like, I think they're knocking her down to mid card for a little while because she's with Nia, and Nia is not a main eventer, and she's not going to be a main eventer. They can put her in the title picture, but the first thing they got to do is fix those fucking super shredder clothes they give her. She seems like a nice enough girl, and she could probably be very pretty in the right outfit, but goddamn, those shoulder pads and that other bullshit they have on there do her no favors.
She looks like Max Moon.
God, she wishes, right? Give her the fucking rocket pack. But it's just, I think she's one of those. She's another one that needed to stay in the soup a little bit longer. She needed to be down at NXT still. That's my opinion. But there was nothing for her to do down there. She already lost to Asuka. She lost to Bayley at one point too, right?
Yep.
Bayley choked her out. Yeah. So I mean, She went as far as she could in NXT without taking the title, and then realistically, she gonna fucking take the title from Asuka? No. So I really don't know what to do. She's gonna end up being the Big Show, that division, where what do we need? We'll turn Nia babyface. Okay, well now we'll turn Nia heel. Well, now they'll just put her in that utility spot because realistically she's not a title contender, at least not now. So you just got to use her in filler spots like this.
Yeah, and she's the size of like someone like Kong, but she doesn't have the experience that Kong already had as a wrestler, but when she debuted in TNA.
Well, you got to remember too with Kong, what was so impressive with Kong, number one, TNA didn't have her talk. Right at the very beginning, when Kong hit the scene, she had a manager.
Yeah. She barely spoke afterwards.
Right, and
Raisha Saeed.
There you go. Look at you. But yeah, you're right. She really never talked even after the manager, which was always good because her facial expressions did all the talking. I mean, you talk about somebody for her size, her agility was phenomenal, and that's what made her rise. Nia needs more of the agility. I'm not taking anything away. I think in a short time, she's become a pretty decent wrestler, and she works to her strengths. She does a lot of those power moves, but she's not agile. Kong, I used to just be in awe of Kong. So yeah, but I think that just comes with time too. As she gets more comfortable.
Yeah, and she probably will. She just, it's all new to her. But if you go back to like what the trademark of who her family is, she might get there. She'll get there one day.
Right.
But it does go with the thing that they do seem to jump the gun with a lot of NXT call-ups. They like Apollo Crews is one of those guys that needed, I think, a little more seasoning in NXT. I mean, he's phenomenal in the ring, but he just doesn't have that character, that it factor yet. It's almost like he needs Rich Swann's charisma, and then he'd be the total package.
See, now here's the thing. This is where I have to disagree with you, and I'll tell you why. When it comes to his in-ring performance and his agility, he was ready to advance from NXT. I agree with you in the sense that his character is kind of, just like the nice guy. Like he's just, there's really no character there.
The smile, the happy to be there guy. I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, right, but I don't think that you need NXT to necessarily develop that. I think that's something that the fucking writers could do now. And what they would have to do is turn him heel and let him build some character. Now, I don't know if he can pull off being a heel, which is another thing we got to talk about with another superstar, and we'll get into that. But can he pull that off? But I think that would be a great way to try and give him some of that character. But I don't see Vince pulling the trigger on turning him heel anytime soon because,
no.
I mean, as it is, he's not really on TV all that much anyway.
I mean, he's like, besides, if you ever try to talk to Vince, he might be like, well, I pushed Shelton Benjamin already. I gave him the Intercontinental title.
That's very true.
Apollo Crews, wasn't he just a tag team champion? Like, fuck. But Apollo Crews, poor guy. To speak to what you were saying, Steve, the smiley guy thing, I don't want to say is like a racist thing, but it almost seems like hey, when we have nothing else to do with a black guy, we make him smile and dance and shit. Like, at least he's not dancing.
That's how Kofi came in. That's how Coco Beware came in. That's how the Junkyard Dog came in. You got a point.
The Funkasaurus, Rich Swann.
Yep.
There's a lot of them if you look. But, I mean, listen, it's fine because Rich Swann was singing and dancing before this, so it's not like they put that on him. So if Apollo Crews starts dancing, that's when you know it's all over for him. But if you've ever go on YouTube one time, Steve, and check out his debut match, Apollo Crews as Uha Nation. He wrestled Low Key, and he fucked up Low Key in like a minute and a half, and they made him look like a big badass.
But a big badass or
like
heel?
He just didn't. Here's the thing: he came out. He wasn't a heel. He wasn't a face because I think he was just making his debut. They didn't really have an idea of what he was going to do, but he just came out and like with the Kong thing. He fucking silent killered it. He just came out. He fucking headbutted him. He hit all of his big spots, standing moonsault, whatever, and pinned him in a minute and a half, and everybody shit their pants.
Yeah,
and if he just came out like, if he just came out like that with like, because he comes out with this guy smiley looking, I get it. He's like a happy guy, but you're in a fight, man. Like, you're fighting. This is a profession. Like, your profession is that you beat people up for a living. So maybe you should be like, when it comes down to it, you should be serious.
Right. No, it's true. Like, even like take a guy like Mark Henry or The Big Show are actually two perfect examples. Let's say like their faces. Yeah. With Big Show, obviously that happens every other week. But so let's say they're both faces at the time. Those are guys that will come out, they'll smile, they'll shake hands, and the minute that bell rings, that smile goes away, and
it goes bye-bye.
And they get down to business, and that's what Apollo needs. But I do want to see that, because I want to see that match, because I'm curious, because I really only know Apollo from really NXT and WWE, and well, what we see now is all we've ever gotten since he's been here.
And he can do much. And I hate to be one of those guys who are like, well, when he was on the indies, he could do a lot more moves. But, like, that's the thing with Apollo Crews. He's got a very good move set, a very large move set. So.
I mean, that's really not so far-fetched. I mean, look at AJ Styles. There's a lot of moves that he used to do that he does not do anymore, and I guarantee you that's because Vince McMahon said, no, I don't want you to take the risk, or no, that's not how we do things, or,
You're 35, stop it,
Right.
That thing.
Right.
But look at Chris Jericho. He's 46, and he still does the lion salt like it's no big deal.
They're hanging him in a shark cage like a stupid, sexy piñata.
Stupid idiots.
So I swear, I said that last night. I go, what, is Vince Russo back or something? Why is there a cage?
I got to be honest with you. I think it's fucking awesome.
They're selling a toy.
Segment, that segment was gold. I think every segment really with Owens and Jericho has been gold. And since we brought them up, Eric, I wanted to, Vince alluded to you didn't miss anything. Well, now here's my opinion on that. So, I mean, listen, the result in the end, we all knew was going to be Kevin Owens, but everybody didn't think that Jericho was going to turn. And they did such a great job. It was in my opinion, a very unique finish. And it was unique because Kevin Owens played it off that he had no idea that this is what Jericho was doing. So Jericho comes out, and he's like standing, looking like he's about to hit Roman. And he turns and gives Kevin Owens the code breaker. So the ref throws the DQ and gives Kevin Owens the win because of disqualification. And then Owens had this look on his face like, what the fuck? And then Jericho handed him the belt, helped him up, and then they hugged, and Jericho started laughing. Like it was just all a setup on his part only, not Kevin. And for that, I thought it was a little bit more creative than usual, and I actually did enjoy the finish. And then, of course, you got the reunion of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Jericho went through the table. But in that respect, I actually it kept me entertained, as Sheamus would say.
But did the rest of the match? Were Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns lighting the world on fire? Was Dave Meltzer giving that a 5 if it was in the Tokyo Dome?
Oh, absolutely not. It definitely wasn't a great match. It was really just the finish.
It was a great ending. It wasn't a great match.
Well, right. And usually we're saying the fucking opposite. Usually we're like, the match was great and they ruined it with the finish. So it was a nice change because the match kind of sucked. But the finish was good,
But does this mean? Go ahead, Ken.
I was going to say my favorite part was Raw last night. I'm giving you the hug of Jericho. Bring it in, man.
Oh, dude, I was eating dinner and I almost choked. Like that was fucking hilarious. So yeah, I mean, other than that on Roadblock, I mean, and then all right, so the New Day, which I saw coming. I mean, I figure, all right, they beat the streak. They're now the longest reigning ever. Now they're going to lose. I just hope this doesn't result in a New Day split because I truly love them together. And I was actually curious to see how they were going to come out on Raw because now they're not the 2-time champs or whatever. So I like how, but it was kind of weird not hearing that. And but I think it was time, and I think Cesaro and Sheamus, the dynamic with the two of them, I just think it's a great choice. And I'm enjoying it, and I love the new straps.
They're not bad. They're much better than the pennies.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But what did you guys think of the New Day finally losing?
It was definitely about time.
I was still kind of bummed, though. I love them with the belts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they're going to get them back.
I don't know, man. How soon do you think they're going to get them back? I mean, they just had them for a long fucking time.
They're putting out a book. The New Day. So they're not going to, first of all, they're not going to split up if they're putting out a book.
Well, right, because they'll want to promote it. I did hear about the book too, actually.
So you would think they at least get back into the mix when the book is there. Because I could see them being like, they read their own book to re-inspire themselves. And like the power of positive, because the book is called The Power of Positivity or something like that.
As it should be.
And it's like part autobiography, part like self-help, positivity training kind of thing. So
taken out of the page of DDP, positively page.
Exactly. So they're going to do that, and they're going to be like, it's going to be like when Gary Spivey talked to Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful.
Remember Gary Spivey, the Psychic Companions Network? Hell yes. So yeah, that's they're going to have their own Gary Spivey moment with themselves.
I have that theme song, by the way.
Of course, that's a great theme song. My cat is being extremely needy right now. During the show, I've been throwing it's this little mouse that has a squeaky thing in it, and it's like battery powered. So whenever it moves or shakes, it makes a squeak. So the cat loves chasing around this little squeaky mouse. And now it's just sitting here. She's sitting here like rubbing up against my leg because I haven't thrown it to her in a couple minutes. It's like, you're being nice now. You're nice to me when you need food and when you want me to throw the squeaky mouse, but no other time of the day are you that nice to me.
Did anyone notice the joke that Big E threw out about Charlotte?
When on Raw?
Yeah, they're talking about how, Ric Flair couldn't be a 16-time champion without losing it 15 times. And then Big E goes, yeah, that'll be Charlotte in a month.
That'll be Charlotte.
I actually didn't catch that, but that's fucking hilarious.
I thought it now. I'm saying it. Eric, does your name say Andredo the Giant?
Yes, it does.
Thank you, Eric, for that. Was there anything else notable on that pay-per-view? I really feel like the pay-per-view was just kind of there.
The Neville
It was kind of a weak
Steve wants to
pay-per-view.
talk about that.
Well, yeah, so let's fucking talk about that, because I got to be honest. Like, all right, so he comes back, he turns heel at the pay-per-view, and I'm kind of like, all right, let's see where this goes. I'll give it a chance. So then I watch Raw, and I watch Neville's promo and everything else, and dude, I cannot take him seriously as a heel. I mean, it's obviously going to happen, so I'm going to have to get used to it.
Oh, it's already happening.
Yeah, but I can't. I can't. He's just not believable as a heel to me. I don't know why, but I just can't buy into it.
Is it because he's 5'1", built like a guy that's 6'3", and he looks like an elf with those ears?
I mean, dude, yeah, it's very possible.
Like no knocking him, but damn, let's be honest.
I'm not the only one that thinks Lord of the Rings when he comes out. Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, oh no, what I was trying to load up here on my phone, if I can find it. Oh yes. There's gonna be an ad. There's always an ad. So while this ad 3, 2, 1. Perfect. This was the song I was thinking of. Is it gonna play? Here we go. Did you guys ever? This is like a YouTube video, and it's got 22,700,000 views.
That's hilarious.
And it's like a remix of. So, whenever.
What is it? What?
So it's Legolas saying they're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
Yeah.
And whenever he comes out, this song plays in my head, just that little techno remix, because I see him coming out. I know, by golly, he's trying, because he comes out with the cape and the smoke, and he's a superhero. But oh man, he's underdog, because he's so small.
Is he supposed to be
Underdog.
Mighty Mouse?
Mighty Mouse, yeah, that was what they called him with the ears. But that's a UFC guy.
This is his first time ever going heel ever, right?
God, I watched a lot of PW.
I mean, I feel like in the WWE, maybe.
I think so. I mean, they teased it a little in NXT during his feud with Sami Zayn, but he never turned.
Yeah, and
I think that was more so just because it was up against Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn people just love. You know what I mean?
Sami Zayn is a perpetual babyface.
Yeah, but I mean, even in the Indies or whatever, though, he was never really heel.
No.
Or-
I
What
never
was
saw
he known as Pac or something?
Pac, yeah.
Yeah, so this is like a whole new open game for him. So it's just as new to him as it is to us watching it.
And
Yeah.
WWE really, for some reason, they don't like first names anymore. He's
Yeah.
just
Yeah, they got rid of Cesaro's name and Neville's name. And
Costs to put on a shirt.
Yeah, Kozlov had it for a little while.
But then we have the Brian Kendrick.
Right.
Wow, but he is the Brian Kendrick.
Absolutely.
Do they still call him the Brian Kendrick, huh?
Yes. And did anyone notice that Aries has been doing commentary lately for some cruiserweight action?
Oh, yeah.
I did
Yeah,
see
well,
that
he might
last
as well
night,
do
yeah.
something while he's down.
He is the greatest man that ever lived.
And he's doing a good job. I didn't notice anything particularly egregious when he was doing his thing.
He's
especially.
dating Rosita,
They're engaged.
Thea
Oh.
Trinidad, yeah.
God, good for him.
So, well, maybe we should dive into Raw.
Oh man, I tried. I fell asleep like halfway through Raw. I really tried. I just didn't.
I gotta
love
be
it.
honest. There were some great parts of Raw. Enzo and the whole fucking
The sensitivity thing.
the sensitivity thing was absolutely hilarious.
I loved that.
Where does
That
Jinder
was
Mahal fall into this, though?
Because he was there. Because
Right.
Well,
I guess
yeah,
he's,
no,
just
I get that, but
he's an angry guy.
Cause he's foreign, damn it.
yeah, are they going to create a new League of Nations? I hope not.
Oh, could you imagine?
But how hysterical was Bob Backlund during that segment, though?
His facial expressions.
Bob
That guy
Backlund.
looks like he's going to have a heart attack every time he talks.
He's so funny.
I'm concerned because I live within like 20 minutes of him, so there's chances you can see him in public, and he's. If
Dude,
anybody recognizes him in public as being Mr. Bob Backlund, you got to call him Mr. Backlund or he freaks out. But if anybody sees him, he goes full
I
gimmick.
went to the University of Hartford, and I remember this one day. I went to get gas.
What year did you graduate from? We both went to the University of Hartford.
We've had this conversation.
Yeah,
I graduated way before you because
Of course you did. Oh,
Yeah. I'm 36.
okay.
But I remember I went to get gas on like Albany Avenue or something, and I'm pumping the gas, and all of a sudden I see this guy with the white shirt, bow tie, and red suspenders, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's Bob Back!" I didn't go up to him. I didn't want to bother him, but he was there pumping gas.
Oh yeah,
It's hilarious.
that's Bob. He lives it, man. I was at a bookstore one time and I was looking. They had a thing of Bob Back, and I was like, "Oh look, it's Bob Back." And they go, "Oh, Bob was actually just here signing books earlier today." And I was like, "Shit, I don't know if I would have bought one, but I at least would have liked to have been there when he did his thing because he does. He's a character. He lives that gimmick. It's no different than like it's really just old school Carney stuff. He is that character when it's time to go, and even when it's not time to go, like he recognizes when people see that if they're fans or whatever, and they recognize him in public, he'll give them the business. He'll give them the full Bob Backlund routine.
The Mr. Bob Backlund.
Mr. Bob, and it's got to be Mr. Oh man, you got to know if you want an autograph, you got to know the vice presidents in order.
In order, yeah. And
Yeah.
It's like no joke.
No, I'm just serious. My dad one time, my dad's still mad about it. He still tells the story and gets mad. He's like, the fucking guy. I'm like, my kid's like 6. I'm trying to get an autograph for him. I'm like, he wants to know the fucking vice presidents or some shit. I'm like, that's That's Bob.
You know what? Sadly, I don't think most people could name the current vice president.
Oh yeah, what's his face? No, Joe Biden.
The funniest thing Backlund said, at least in his Darren Young days, is he goes, "You have to have a constant tendency to relapse into barbarianism."
Wow, that's a lot.
I wonder if he came up like I'm because he seems like a guy that reads a lot of books and shit. I wonder if that's like a quote from some novel or something, and he pulls it out, and because
it's like an Ernest Hemingway thing,
right? We're wrestling fans and we don't know this shit. He pulls it out and sounds like a genius when it was written like 200 years ago or something. I mean, it would make perfect sense.
It would be something he would totally do.
Yeah. So this Raw with the cage, and I know we talked about it a little bit, and we're saying,
it was a great segment. Mick Foley was fantastic, except for the fact that he fucked up where they were. Although that made the segment even better. Oh my god. Well, and Jericho is so great because in that moment he spun it around and used it, and it was like a true pro. He did his thing. So.
And then where were they? Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, and he said they were in Pittsburgh.
Right. And they're looking at the cage. It says made in Ohio. It's a piece of crap.
I gotta check this cage out for myself, see if it's safe.
That was so dumb. Oh man, you saw it coming from a mile away. You knew it was gonna happen, but they're selling a toy now. They're selling a set called the Crash Cage. And guess what? It's a fucking shark cage suspended over the ring, except that this one has a button that when you press the right time, it launches the fucking cage and it crashes down onto all the other toys. So I'm hoping there's no crash. Got it for
Christmas for the kids.
Oh, goodness. Well, as long as Chris Jericho doesn't come down with the rest of the cage at the pay-per-view, I think we'll be okay. But
nope, I bought that for the kids last week. I'm so excited. I actually cannot wait till Christmas morning because I want to fucking play with it. I want to play with that. Screw them, play it.
You have to give us a review.
I'll tell you what. I go through the aisles sometimes and I'll look at these wrestling figures they have now. I'm like, man, if I was a kid right now, man.
Dude, and you guys should have seen Eric's collection. Holy shit! You talk about a collection.
I remember his collection.
And I'd like to point out that I bought a majority of Steve's son's wrestling figures.
That is true.
Wow.
That is very true.
Except somehow, and I didn't buy this one, but somehow he ended up with Jumpin' Jim Brunzell. I'm like, how the hell did you find that guy?
Yeah, we don't know how
Jim Brunzell figure.
He's got it.
Well, there was a Killer Bees. I don't think he had Blair also, but I'm like, it was in the Killer Bees outfit though.
It's got the
Miss Elizabeth one on eBay like 3 months ago. I was in my glory.
Does the Jim Brunzell one come with a little Iron Sheik that just screams homophobic slurs at you? Break your back, make you humble. The Killer Bee, the jumping Jim Brunzell, the fucking, you know what I mean? That Sheiky baby. Oh.
I'll tell you what, though, he was such a sweetheart at WrestleCon.
He seems like a nice enough guy, and then you get a little liquor in him, and then he's a different guy. It happens.
Happens to the best of us.
Right?
Dude, he was sweet. I have pictures of me going to a wrestling event, meeting him and everything. He was so sweet.
It's awesome. I've seen him at WrestleCon. I never really went up and got stuff from him because, first of all, I think it's a little pricey. I mean, he is a legend and all, but when you're trying to conserve money and picking out guys that you want to get autographs from, it's like, maybe not. Now, I don't know how good or healthy is it. I don't know. It was a couple years ago, so I don't even quite remember the price. I just remember I was like, I'll save my, because especially at a convention, it's probably upwards of $30. Hogan was charging like 75. Flair was charging 70.
That's actually cheap for Hogan.
Yeah, Hogan was. The line was out the goddamn door.
Oh, I'm sure. It's Hogan.
Man. And then we had Bret Hart. Michael had Bret Hart come in, and that was interesting because like Apter stopped by, and a bunch of people stopped by because Bret was there, and it was just, oh, dude, whatever he paid Bret, he made his fucking money back and then some.
I hope so because I'm sure Bret was a lot of fucking money.
Oh yeah, and he was signing everything, belts and shirts and. That guy Rob Schamberger was there, and he signed a bunch of those big fucking painting things. You know
Oh,
how
really?
that guy does the paintings of. This was back before
He's
WWE.
incredible.
Yeah, and this was back before WWE got a hold of the guy, and High Spots had him as just kind of a vendor. So he had like just a big ass stack of them, and you're like, here, you know, he paid him money. You know, High Spots probably paid him some money to sign a bunch of them for their table, and you know, you could buy it as a thing. Oh, do you want a picture? Do you want a poster? Whatever the fuck. It was pretty cool. Like they did. That WrestleCon was about the most fun I've had at a wrestling event. That the WrestleMania 29, leading up to WrestleMania 29, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, WrestleCon, if you have an opportunity to go, you definitely go. I mean, it's a hell of a good time. We had a table in Dallas, and it was great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go this year. I don't know who else is coming.
When is it this year?
Well, it's the weekend. It leads up to WrestleMania every year, so it's in Orlando.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I may end up there if I can't sell my Mania ticket.
that's right. Well, you just got to find people to travel and shack up with, and you can save money on the expenses. Like that's really the prohibitive thing is if you're going to WrestleMania and it's not in the city that you live in or near, it's inconvenient to get to, and then it's expensive to stay there.
Yeah.
The last one I went to was WrestleMania 10.
You came to Hartford? Or no, wait.
10 was Madison Square Garden.
Right, Garden.
Yeah,
Which
10,
one was
I was in the Garden.
11 was
11 was Hartford. 11 was Hartford, yeah.
one of the
10
worst.
was the one with
WrestleManias
Randy
ever.
Savage's last match ever when the Falls Count Anywhere against Crush.
Yep, I remember that. I was there for that.
Was 10 also Brett and Owen?
Yes.
And Perfect returned, and Roddy Piper returned. Yeah.
The ladder match and
In the face.
Wow. So it's my first WrestleMania was actually WrestleMania 29. I did 2 in a row, and then I didn't go for a couple years. Now I'm going back. Although, dude, if I'm gonna be so pissed if it's just the fucking Roman Reigns show again.
I just don't see how they do it. I really don't.
What do you mean? He wins the title at the Royal Rumble, and then he keeps it through WrestleMania.
He's
That's
not
it.
winning the title.
What do you mean?
it might also depend on
Jericho in the damn
who
thing.
wins the Rumble too.
What they need to do is give Jericho another run with the title. I think he's earned it. This has been the best he's been in a long time, in my opinion. The whole gimmick, everything is just working well.
Oh yeah, he's on fire.
Would you be opposed to a Jericho Rumble win and then facing Owens at Mania?
I would be totally okay with that, but I don't see that happening. I could see Jericho being in the Final Four.
I think they need to make some. I mean, who's there to make this year though? There's nobody to make, so I guess maybe you just go with somebody who's on the roster already.
And is AJ going into Mania as champ?
He probably puts over Cena, right?
I mean, I think he should.
If he doesn't put over Cena, that means he puts over Ambrose.
I'm okay with that decision too.
And maybe Cena comes out, because this is what I heard online. This is not a bad idea. Cena comes out and makes all of his big proclamations like he's going to challenge to try and get his 16th world title. Gong. And then you set up Undertaker, John Cena, and that removes John Cena from the title picture and gives the Undertaker something to do.
It's not a bad idea.
But it depends. Again, it's all the direction that they want to take. Because John Cena hasn't had 2016 was the first year in like 9 years that John Cena hasn't had a title match.
Yeah, it's been so nice. Although we've been
It's the
stuck with
first
Reigns,
one.
so.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the problem. You take him on and just swap him with somebody fucking worse.
I'm disappointed that he's coming back next week.
It's whatever.
You know what? It depends on what happens. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been hearing some rumors that the heel turn we've all been waiting for is going to happen soon. So, if they do something like that, I'm all for it.
Shit, they're about 10 years.
Did I see him on Saturday Night Live?
I did.
No, I didn't.
Was that-
How was it?
I didn't watch it. I already did a good job, though.
It was good.
He did a great job. It was so funny. He did a Karate Kid segment and everything from the original movie. It was hysterical.
That's great.
That's really.
But like Cena, for me, like the most enjoyable for me Cena's been was his whole U.S. title reign. It was great.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, the only problem with that was that you just knew until they found that one person, you just knew no matter how good of a fucking match that was put on, it was the same.
And it ended up being
He'd let him hit
Del Rio?
3. He'd let him hit a couple finishers and make it look real good, and then it's like, nope.
And his name is John Cena.
Right? Yeah. I mean, listen, everybody looked good. Sami Zayn looked really good. All those fucking guys looked really good. But at the end of the day, what did they looked good in harrowing fucking ass kicking defeat.
Oh, so listen, I wanted to bring this up because we have about a little more than 20 minutes. I wanted to bring this up. Total nonstop deletion.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was absolutely fucking horrible.
What?
I hated everything about that final match. I loved the whole Maxwell Hardy deal. I thought that was great. I thought Matt was funny as hell throughout the whole thing, as always.
There was a volcano.
I fucking hated it, bro. I don't know if it's just I'm a traditionalist that way, or I don't know. I fucking hated everything about it. I hated it. I hated it. But I feel like I'm also in the minority because
I enjoyed the shit out of that. It was great. Like the fucking Rock and Roll Express.
I mean, that was cool to see them, and like it was funny when it got stuck up above in the cage and shit. But
and then a random shot of Road Warrior Animal. Like, what are you doing up there?
A random shot of Disco Inferno.
All right.
It did
Disco
nothing for
was
me.
there.
And I'm pretty sure Abyss like legit killed a couple of guys. Holy shit!
At least 3 confirmed kills there. Yeah. But Disco, you know what Disco needed? Disco needed his tag team partner Alex Wright to reform the Dancing Fools.
Oh my god, leather jacket.
If Alex Wright came, they could have the Dancing Fools in the tag team Apocalypto.
You know, for me, the like there were a couple of funny things, but all in all, the match itself was god awful. I thought also.
The match wasn't by any stretch of the imagination even really a wrestling match per se. Yeah, Ryan, it was more of a we're talking about a total nonstop deletion. It was more of a happening, as Gorilla Monsoon would say. It's a happening. It wasn't really a match so much as it was like an action movie.
I feel like the whole broken thing is better in doses, though. Like it's not. I can't do like a whole hour of it, or you know what I mean.
That may have been what my problem was. Maybe that's what it was. But I hated it. I hated it.
Hated it.
Hated that. No, I'm a big.
2 snaps and a twist.
2 snaps and a twist. Yeah, man. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed because everything that led up to it was pretty good. And then I thought that Abyss, and Crazy Steve there, that was an interesting deal where they kind of stood at the gate and then all the tag teams came in and then they murdered them. Modern Vintage Wrestling, the Ugly Ducks, kind of got the shit kicked out of them. If you were noticing any of the cameos, the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne, I'm pretty sure he got murdered by Abyss, which is funny because he recovered from his murder in order to sign up for the WWE UK Championship tournament. So good for him.
And I don't know if you noticed also,
he had a quick turnaround there.
Yeah.
One of Charlie's guys was the Squire.
The Squire. The guy, the scribe, the guy that was writing all the shit down. What was he? But who? So what's his connection?
That's Brad Stutz. He works for Charlie.
Oh, that's fucking great.
Dimitri.
He's great scribe.
I always see him at like every time I go to one of anything that Charlie's at, he's at too, and I see Brad all the time.
And he's silent. He just does. It's all facial expressions. It's wonderful.
Yep. If I had money and things to write down, he'd be my scribe.
Now, Ryan, I don't know if you heard this, but Steve did not find total nonstop deletion.
I didn't hear that.
As wonderful as the rest of us. I felt it was tremendous, but he did not think so.
I enjoyed it. You gotta have a taste for the insanity.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, I fucking love Matt Hardy, and I think it was hilarious, but I've already said it.
Delete.
It's insane.
Delete.
The ending with the volcano.
Yeah, Twist of Fate into the volcano. Twist of Fate into the volcano. That was my fucking favorite. Crazy Steve is dead. He got sacrificed to some strange god in the volcano.
He turned
If
up
he
on,
comes back on Thursday, how are they going to explain any of this? 4 or 5 people at least died. So how are we going to explain this?
Crazy Steve showed up on Russell Zone's Impact review.
Crazy Steve is fucking jacked. I never noticed that until the other day.
His character is great. He kept it in character for the total nonstop deletion review, and
Oh, nice.
apparently, from what it sounds like, they're gonna pick up the feud with the Hardy brothers.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
Did anyone like the jab that Matt Hardy threw out about
With
Triple
the
H?
hurricane?
Yeah, which one? The Triple H burying?
Even the man with three H's,
H's.
would appreciate the burial of these fine young talents.
And then they gave the big thumbs up. The lake of regeneration or rejuvenation, or whatever the fuck it is. That's great. That first of all, he went from Shane Helms to fucking Sugar Shane 3 count to the Hurricane. Skarsgård? Okay, how can you have a fucking boat broke up a 3 count? How could you not like that? That's the best.
Hated it.
Skarsgård. I love the name.
Skarsgård. I love that. You can't have this every week. You can't have it every week. That's true.
Was interesting.
Which one?
King Maxwell.
Oh, that was really funny.
That was my favorite part.
Little vehicle.
That's a Mercedes-Benz.
That was my favorite part.
Borash said it so
Who
seriously.
was doing the delete thing?
Oh, that kid's great.
That kid, I don't. How is that kid just the way he reacts on live TV is amazing.
Yeah, and some people just send out one of those postcards that says "We're expecting." These two wrote a whole fucking pay-per-view about it.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
They could have,
You're pregnant? Wonderful.
she could have tweeted out a nice little picture with the sonogram and all that shit.
yeah.
I had to sit through 2 hours of a TV show to find out she was pregnant. No.
I did enjoy all 7 of us. What?
Right? Yeah, that was such a funny way to reveal it. Wonderful. I kind of knew that I've known she was pregnant for a little bit now, but it's nice to know that it's public now. I feel like in The Office when Kevin had to keep the secret about Oscar and the Senator. You know what I'm talking about because you live in Pennsylvania, Ryan. That's like your national sport, The Office. Wait a minute. I think I've noticed this before, but you're a Browns fan?
Yeah,
Oh, you poor soul.
I'm used to it.
Oh, Owen 16?
14.
0-14 so far? All right, well,
They're
listen.
going for
They're going for the
it.
toilet bowl.
Other teams they try and win. We're going for the record set by the Lions.
Well, at least you guys have RG3 now, right?
He looks just as bad as the other quarterbacks. He's been back for 2 games now, and he looks like all he can do is run every so often.
That poor guy. Make him a running back. Anyway, what do we got coming up? Anything coming? I know we've got SmackDown tonight. So what is possible for SmackDown
What's his face
tonight?
is getting his WWE title match.
What, Ellsworth?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Yo, Steve is gonna be so angry if they put the title on Ellsworth.
What?
I'll tell
Tell you right now. I'll tell you this right now. They put the title on Ellsworth. I will not be watching SmackDown going forward. And it sucks because I love everyone else on the show, but I will forfeit watching SmackDown.
What if they just
Absolutely
did
will.
it? What if they did it like with Jericho when he beat Triple H that one time, and it looked like he won it for like an hour or so?
I doubt they're going to do that.
I think he's just going to get his ass kicked pretty bad.
Yeah, he's going to get his ass kicked, and Dean Ambrose is going to kick his ass.
What?
Poor guy's just gonna get his ass whooped again.
Okay, I just want to go over the tag title match. Now, what was the Hype Bros that won this Battle Royal, but Zack Ryder got injured.
9 months he's out.
Yeah. Now, obviously, obviously the Hype Bros were not going to win the titles anyway, but who would you put in Ryder's place, or would you get a new tag team?
Zack Ryder said on Twitter that it should be Kurt Hawkins that replaces him.
Makes sense.
And they could call themselves the Hawk Bros.
Oh God.
God.
Yeah, I know. It sounds
while
awful.
I bang my head up against the wall really quick.
I could see them doing that.
It's not worth it.
You know, and then Zach comes back, and they're a 3-man group of intolerable fucking people. Like I think, you know, Mojo, good on him for making it as far as he's made it with the limited skill set that he has. But he is every person that I tried to avoid when I went to college.
Yeah, pretty much. He reminds me of all those frat boys I
from
hated.
Zack Ryder's YouTube show.
The Big O.
Yeah, thank you.
The Big O has blocked Zack Ryder on Twitter. I don't know if you knew this.
I didn't know that.
And somebody asked that, and he says, "I don't have time for assholes, bro." So apparently,
Wow.
I guess he's upset that he's not good enough to get hired by WWE, so he's taking it out on Ryder. That would be my guess.
That's what most people are assuming, and I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, especially a guy
I just did. I don't
that
give
big
a fuck.
and jacked up. But I mean, listen,
he's gonna make you get out of his ozone.
It would make sense. It would make sense if, you know, he thinks his friend didn't try hard enough to get him a job. But here's the deal: he got him he can only get you so far.
Yeah,
as far as
he's only Zack Ryder.
He got a tryout.
Right. He got the tough enough tryout.
Right, and he wasn't good enough.
C'est la vie. Try
I don't
again.
get how ZZ got on, but Big O didn't.
Because ZZ had heart.
Oh, I didn't even watch any of that show. Why am I asking for anybody?
Everybody was in love with ZZ though. That was it though.
Oh, ZZ, that big fat slob that can't wrestle.
Yeah, the Gator guy. Yes, everybody just fell in love with him, even though he couldn't do jack shit.
I'll tell you what. I was one of the ones that hated the guy, but I'll tell you what. I saw him at WrestleCade. He looked tremendous. Like, he looked really good. Like, he's been really trying. So I'm proud of him in that respect.
I'm just talking back however months ago.
Right, that was back then. He was NG, yeah. Who's the kid? Patrick. They finally signed Patrick Clark, right? A little while back, even though he got
fucking weird gimmick.
He's a cocksucker. I would have never hired him.
Steve, wow. Steve, you're just on a roll here of just hate. So what's your?
What did that guy do?
It's been a very long day.
What did he do? I know it's been a long day.
When he was in Tough Enough,
yeah,
he made a comment. I don't even remember what it was, but he made a comment at the end when he got eliminated. And he was like saying like he would have turned down the contract or this and that he was better than the show. Like he was basically talking like his shit didn't stink and like he didn't have to pay dues and all this shit.
Dick.
Yeah, the guy's a total.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan went off on him for that. No, I'm sorry, not Daniel Bryan. The Miz did.
Yep. The guy's a total cocksucker.
Best person to really shove it in his face.
The Miz, I like The Miz.
I mean, just him going from Real World to Tough Enough to where he is now.
Because, like, even when he wrestled, like, I liked him when he didn't let John Cena fucking ruin another WrestleMania by winning it.
Right.
But at the same time, should he have been? Maybe he shouldn't have been WWE champion. But I liked it. You know, he put his fucking
he deserved
time
that spot.
Yeah.
That promo right before the match was one of the best ones I've seen.
Oh, that was great. And then the one thing that I hated was the passion of the Cena. Like the next pay-per-view was an I Quit match, and then he basically just murdered John Cena. And like he did everything to John Cena, and then John Cena came back with one move and fucking won the match like he always did. Oh, I'm angry all over again.
He straight up murked him.
He did.
He still came.
I'm pretty sure he handcuffed him to the ring post and then fucking beat him to death with a kendo stick.
Him and who was that?
Alex Riley.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
And you know,
I like Dave Ryan.
Another Tough Enough alum who's actually been improved so much is Eva Lee. She's been killing it in Lucha Underground.
Yeah, I've been watching just little clips of Lucha Underground. I need to watch the whole show. Sit down and watch, but it's good. The stuff that I watch when I watch like individual matches or clips from stuff, it's all real good. And it's all It's got that style to it. They film it like a movie almost.
Hope they continue.
I heard they're actually trying to increase the number of episodes that they put out for the next season.
That'd be good.
It's like it's a whole story, and it's like science fiction-y, weird kind of. Because Robert Rodriguez from Dusk Till Dawn, that guy, is that who is the executive producer?
I believe so.
Yeah, that sets you up for some weird shit like Matanza. You guys, are you familiar with are you guys all familiar with Lucha Underground?
I don't watch it.
Not as much as I should be.
There's this guy called Jeff Cobb from the Indies, and he wrestles as a character Matanza. And Matanza's masked. He's got this like fucking black, awesome looking mask, and then he wears like almost like gray, like a gray prisoner's outfit or like coveralls, and he just comes out and he's a hulking guy. He's not very tall, but he's
big.
Broad, just
kind of like
just
a Taz
big
body.
Yeah, and he just fucking slams people. He's really good. They have these the Snake Tribe. Is that what they call it? With the snake, they have these guys with really, really realistic looking snake masks to the point where it looks like they're not lucha libre masks that are glittery and made of fabric and shit. These are like masks with scales and eyeballs and shit on them, and they look like part human, part Sleestack from The Land Before Time.
And so that's the first time I've heard that movie in a long while.
I was going to say that I just went back like 30 years.
You went to The Land Before Time.
I did. I mean, the Sleestacks, who even remembers the Sleestacks? And those Bill Lambier from the Detroit Pistons once played a Sleestack on the original Land Before Time live action series. That's your useless trivia fact for the day.
Now, Vince, did they unmask Sexy Star?
I don't think they did. Because
I heard that was happening, or was
I haven't seen it come up yet, so they might have filmed it and then it's in the can or something.
She's pretty good too.
Because she became their world champion, winning like a battle royal thing. So she was their world champion for a little while, and then Johnny Mundo beat her. Now this is the thing, and Kat's here, so I feel like we can get a female perspective on this. I hate when women wrestle men. I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to see it. It's reminiscent of like domestic violence. It's
or the old school Attitude Era where.
And it's just, and I hate to be and sound sexist and say guys are generally bigger and stronger than women and can beat up on them, and it's not fair.
Tisk. Send all the hate mail.
We're gonna hate mail for this, but there's a 1% that's Ronda Rousey and Chris Cyborg and Misha Tate. There's 1% that's that. I just don't. I hate like Sexy Star. She's athletic and she's very strong for her size, and she's got big muscles and she's an athlete and all this other shit. But when you put her up against a guy that's the size of Johnny Mundo or bigger, I'm just uncomfortable watching that.
Like it only worked with China.
Yes, China. Like
Beth Phoenix also had that.
Beth Phoenix. There are women that I feel like it works with, but it's still not like, even with the China thing, it was always like
kind of awkward.
Her and Jeff Jarrett would wrestle, but then she had to like beat him with an ironing board, because they had a women should be in the fucking kitchen match, and they had brooms and shit.
Good housekeeping match, yes.
Yeah, whatever the fuck it was, good housekeeping. You know what I mean? So like, it was always with a tinge of like sexism, or at least a little bit of like, weird area that I hate getting into that. So, like that whole area.
An exception with it was like when it was Sherry Martel, because she could get in the ring with that.
Sherry could mix it up. Yeah, and again, there are women like
She could take an atomic drop like the best of them.
But like Sherry Martel is the one that actually pretty much started that. But she could hold her own against anybody.
I liked it when she would interfere, and she'd take her high heels off and she'd try and do a big splash off the top rope. That was like
Macho King with the shoe, exactly.
While we're speaking of
She'd always get an
cringeworthy stuff,
atomic drop from Hogan.
Jesus, that's rude. That's kind of rude, giving an atomic drop to a girl like that. Oh, you were saying, Ryan?
oh, I really hate how the club uses nerd.
Nerd.
It just they build it. The way they act like it's some grand insult.
It's like a passe term at this point, you know.
It's just so, and they're like, I'm expecting someone to be in the corner with their pants down, going, Randy.
No, they need to cut to Braun Strowman going, nerds.
Yeah, right.
He's over.
I'm losing everybody under 30 right now.
I've been
Anybody
calling him
who's
ogre for
under
the longest
30 has been completely shut out of this conversation with my dated ass pop culture references.
Oh, but it's a good one, dude. These kids need to go find that shit on Netflix and watch
And
it.
if you look at the guy that played that part, and then you look at Braun Strowman, you will understand
It's the same guy.
it's the same guy. So the kingdom has taken to calling people Melvins instead of nerds. That's their word. I'm not sure. I don't know where that comes from. I mean, I know where it comes from. The Melvins is a
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. No, that's when Melvin somebody.
See, and once again, we just fucking shut everybody out under the age of 30 by talking about that. Bill and Ted, like anybody remembers that shit.
I'm 30 and I'm having a hard time.
Dude, I'm. Hey, they're coming out with a set of Bill and Ted Funko Pops, so you know those are going to be in my collection.
Oh God, here we
I've
go.
surpassed 150, by the way.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Hey guys. So real quick, I wanted to kind of make a quick announcement. We got a couple minutes left.
Whoop, whoop.
So I had the honor and privilege while I was at work, actually. Right place, right time. I see a guy in my waiting area, and for a minute I couldn't place it. And then I was like, oh my God, I think it's Maven Huffman. And for those of you who don't know Maven, Maven was the very first ever Tough Enough winner on MTV. It was in fact Maven, and I went up and talked to him, and real humble, nice guy. Maven will be coming on the podcast. I am trying to lock in an actual date, but my goal is to get him on the first podcast of the new year. So stay tuned for the announcement of when that is happening. And Maven is going to do a little work with Tag Me a Date. So 2017, I think, is going to be a good year.
Excellent.
Sounds like it.
We've got the new site coming up.
It's a new year.
It's a new year. Although overall, it's new day. It's new year. We got the new site. We got Maven. We've got Charlie has to get us the video with Ron Simmons. We're rolling, man. We've got a good head start into the new year. So should we do our closing? Anybody have any final thoughts before we do our closing ceremonies here?
Everybody have a happy holiday?
Yes, happy holidays to
Yes.
everyone.
Yes,
Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah. If you can see when Eric has his camera on, he has his Hanukkah decorations in the back. The Jews is loose.
The juice
for
is
sure.
loose.
He's gonna enjoy his 8 crazy nights.
Man, even without Charlie, we're getting some hate mail.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna get angry letters even without our buddy Charlie from Modern Vintage Wrestling. But so stay tuned to the podcast because Maven's gonna be coming on. We'll update you with that. We'll update you on the site because that's going to be launching very soon. So stay tuned to the Tag Me a Date social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that fine shit. And of course, you can check out the War Report every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. on the Eastern Dial. You go to youtube.com, type in Tag Me a Date, no spaces, scrunch it all together, make one word. And you can see our Tag Me a Date channel. You'll see our archive of shows and our scheduled show. Upcoming show, which, again, will be every Tuesday, 7 p.m. on the Eastern Dial. So if you want to find us, go to YouTube, type it in, Tag Me a Date, no spaces. We will be there, and we will see you in the new year. Well, actually, we'll have one more podcast before the new year, right? And then we'll have a new site, a new day, Yes, it is. So we'll have all that stuff coming up in a short amount of time. Big things popping, little things dropping for tagmeadate.com. See you guys next week.